the hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
Well, Saturday evening is an all-royal affair in Jaipur. The Rajasthan Royals and the Royal Challengers Bangalore are let's start that over again. Royal Challengers Bengaluru, still got to get used to saying that. Whatever you want to call them, they have to start winning. It's that kind of tournament where if you continue to lose and if you end up with 4 losses out of your opening 5, it becomes increasingly hard to come back. And that is something that's on Faf du Plessis' mind. Sanju Samson, on the other hand, wants to keep that unbeaten start to the tournament going as the Royals return for a fixture at home, where the RCB did get the better of them in some fashion last season. So, plenty to look forward to on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Weekend for Timeout. Saturday evening, and only Mitch McClenaghan is dressed for the occasion. Look at him all in black. Are you partying somewhere after we're done?
Yeah, I'm picking him, particularly after the toss has been won by Rajasthan, that we could be dancing quite early tonight.
My God. That is not how it played out last time. I'm just saying, he's just throwing it out there for all the RCB fans who themselves are extremely creative with their own misery. I wonder if you've seen any of the funny memes that have come out. Poor RCB fans just cannot get anything going their way. Could that change tonight, Tom Moody? Now or never for them?
I think it's going to be difficult for it to change tonight. I just like the look of this Rajasthan team, particularly at home, and particularly given they've won the toss as well. I think there's a lot of things looking in their favour. So it'll be a good win. It'll be a good upset if RCB turn the tables.
Are you still an RCB man? You remember you started your IPL career. You historically RCB's first opening pair, one half of the first opening pair. Do you still have any fondness for your first IPL franchise, Mr. Jaffer?
Little bit.
I thought after thinking you could have said yes, of course.
No, little bit. But the way they went about in the auction and the kind of team they put up, the result doesn't surprise me.
Okay.
Can I ask one question? Can you remember your first innings, how many you scored, and how were you dismissed?
I remember, I don't know the runs, but I remember the game where McCallum obviously got 158. So I can't forget that game.
And you didn't match that with 100 and...
Well, we lost by 140 runs.
Why? Why would you do that?
No, I just wanted to know. No, I just wanted to know if you could remember the innings. He's had a lot of innings over the years.
Of course he has, yes. The opening game, of course, of the IPL. Let's set things going for the next 17 years. And like many RCB fans have opined, they still wait in all those years for their team to go all the way. And that is something that's looking a distant possibility with the way they started this year. Can things change though? If they win today, they suddenly get within the mix of teams that are all on 4 points, having played the extra game. Rajasthan are going to play their 4th, Bengaluru their 5th, but their net run rate is still decent enough. So you'd like for them to at least get the feel of a side that's winning more than they're losing. Rajasthan and Kolkata meet each other next after this game, and be very interested to see which team goes into that one as favourites. What will it take though? Because this is a team that's still unsure about, if not their best 11, certainly what the role of their batters are. We've seen players shuffled up and down. We've seen changes made to the bowling attack too. Tom, tough place to be in the dugout for.
Yeah, very tough place, and a place where there's so many different opinions that are flying around within the camp and outside the camp, which makes it even harder to create that clarity. The one thing that is challenging for RCB is that their formula hasn't changed in their squad makeup, and it's been pretty predictable over recent years that is the formula. So it's not like they can suddenly reinvent the wheel and go a completely different direction. So I'm going to be intrigued to see what combination they go in with tonight, and to whether they have decided that right now's the moment we need to either go in with a combination of 2 overseas fast bowlers, or even consider going in with an all-Indian attack and loading their batting up with Will Jacks going into their top order. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they're going to do it.
Very well. I can tell you, of course, like we've heard already from the panel, that there is a change made, or rather the Royals have won the toss and they've put RCB in. There's a change made to RCB, which we'll confirm a little while from now. Good time, though, to revisit the last time RCB were at Jaipur. If you're an RCB fan and you think this is a tough fixture, which it is with the form the Royals have shown, but against quite significant odds, not only did RCB win the last time they were there, they absolutely blew Rajasthan Royals away. So let's revisit that game and give you a chance to make some points along the way as well, as we have a little quiz. My favorite, right? And I will do my best to assist you. You are the RCB for me. You could do with all the assistance.
So it's single questions or a collective?
Let me think about that. Let's go single questions, right? And I will pick and choose who gets to answer. Let's see the first question. And looking at my understanding of the three of you on the question, I'll decide who gets it. Let's take the first one. Right. Somebody who got 29 not out for RCB as they powered their way to 171 turned out to be more than enough. Faf and Maxwell got 50s, right? And this is a player who finished the innings very nicely, 29 not out of 11. Now, whoever puts their hand up, I'm happy to give the question to them. Otherwise, Tom, you're eager. I can give hints. Tom, should I give you a hint?
So I've got you're throwing me under the bus?
Okay. Can I give you this question?
Yeah, you can.
And I can tell you that this player finished well last season, not having been regular for them, and therefore became perhaps a starter for them this season.
Rawat.
Very well done, Mr. Tom Moody. Anuj Rawat it is, 29 out of 11. Fond memories of Jaipur, which, as it turns out, it looks like he will have to revisit from the bench, because guess what? He's the only man dropped.
Poor fella. Poor fella.
He's been dropped.
Short memories.
Rawat was the man who started this season
And that
so
was,
well.
that was I remember that innings. That was an absolute blinder, wasn't it?
Yes.
It came out of nowhere.
And he has been dropped today. So on that note, thematically, I can confirm that RCB have made just one change to their batting 11, and Saurav Chauhan is going to get a debut. Anuj Rawat misses out. So Dinesh Karthik presumably will take the gloves, which is not something that he has been asked to do all season. Now Rawat has had a couple of quiet games after that excellent start at the Chepauk. He also put down an important catch of Nicholas Puran, we mustn't forget, but you hardly hold that against a player. Are you surprised quickly on that, Wasim?
Very surprised. I thought he kept really well apart from that miss, and probably that's the reason why he's reprimanded. And that's probably the story.
Wow, we're having some fun here, aren't we, today? Tom, if you'd like to add to that, I mean, again, what does this tell us of RCB? One of their key players, or rather one player who started well, has been left out in 3 games.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? You know, he showed promise very early on, and obviously they're not showing faith in that promise. And as we highlighted there, he has the capability of turning a match around. You know, traditionally he's more suited to higher in the order, but he's playing a role out of position. So you'd think they'd have a little bit more sort of leniency on his role.
Well, those numbers actually reflect almost exactly what Faf's done, exactly what Cam Green's done, exactly what Maxwell's done, and he's the one who
Probably
gets
better than Patidar.
Yeah,
if you want to add
as well. Yeah, so very, very tough.
Yeah. So, and of course, we just assume it's a selection call, not an injury. But he's replaced with a like for like, because Saurav Chauhan, a young left-hander from Gujarat, good strike rate of 150, IPL debut for him. I thought if they have to make the batting first change, that Lomror has done enough to perhaps join the 11. He's also played for the Royals before, has good insight of this ground. But
Probably Lomror might come in in the second half when
RCB are batting.
RCB are batting.
So
Sorry,
then again, Lomror, who struck quite a
Yeah.
few, is still not.
So Vashak probably will come
Vashak
in.
will come in, yeah.
That's really odd, because Lomro actually looked pretty good last game, didn't he? Sort of came in late and hit a few bombs, and
Yeah.
you know he has been the one that's been next in line, so to speak. So it's nearly like they've made a panic selection there.
I'm also surprised because it's Andy Flower who's the head coach, and I've worked with him a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised with these calls, to be honest.
But is he making the calls?
I'm guessing so. Yeah.
Who else do we have there again?
Well, you don't know, and that's the dynamic in a franchise. Depending on where you are, sometimes those calls can be, influenced by, the playing group, the captain, ownership. Could be, it coming from anywhere. So, I don't think RCB historically had that sort of challenge, but. Who knows
when you're losing, it's never easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's always those challenges.
Okay. Rajasthan, though, are unchanged. Sign of a team that's in perhaps a completely different mood, certainly, as the dugout is concerned. You won 3 out of 3. We're still to see Jaiswal and Butler fire. We'll talk about that a little bit, but they wouldn't worry as long as they're winning. It's pretty much the same side. Parag has found some love at that position at 4. And we believe Sandeep Sharma continues to be unavailable, so you can almost assume that Shubham Dubey will be back for an impact sub role later on, as he was in the last game too. Right. Let's move on with that sort of revisit to the last time RCB and RR played at Jaipur. Let's go to our second question. Tom Moody's on the board. He's done very well to answer that. And look at how these are thematically becoming conversations for today. Right. I'm going to give this one to Wasim Jaffer. All right. Wasim, 35 of 19 for a Rajasthan batter. And if you do the math, looking at the hints I can give you of how many Indian players you see there, you can tell who this is. He top scored in what was a disastrous batting performance of 59 all out. Who is that, Wasim?
Shimran Hetmyer.
Very good, Wasim. Very good. Shimron admirers. Are you disappointed?
Yeah, I'll put my hand up.
Oh, man.
You said put your hand up and you can answer the question.
Because I thought the third question is so easy and right
No,
up your
because I'll
alley.
get it wrong, I'm sure.
But you do remember that 59 all out? Do you think they still would be somewhat scarred by it, or doesn't matter
No, I
this
don't
season?
think so. The kind of form they are in this season, they'll start fresh.
They've left that port.
Yeah, it's
I
gone.
mean, this was at that time, you remember, where Rajasthan has such a good advantage, Tom. They won 4 out of their first 5. And then they had to do very little in the back end of the league stage, and they lost 2 out of 6. They won only 2 out of 6, and this was one of those many defeats. Yeah, so it doesn't count for anything.
No, that's definitely in the long gone.
All right, fair enough. Now, the third one, right? Hetmyer, of course. We'll have a chance to see him in action again later on. Now, the player of the match in that game, all right, I'll help you out, was an RCB left-arm bowler. Now, remember, Reece Topley was ruled out. Okay, so this is an overseas bowler who made a comeback after very long for RCB. And we were surprised to see this seasoned South African left-arm bowler.
Oh, Wayne Parnell.
Oh,
Thank
brilliant.
you very much. I
No
needed a
help
lot
at
of help
all.
there, actually. Thank you very much.
No help at all on his own. Wayne Parnell it is.
He wasn't bad last year for RCB, was he, when he came in? Yeah, he did a good job.
Do you think that was fair, what I did there?
No.
Oh, you got a very leading question. And I got very minimal help. So, all evens out.
You got everything but the name.
See, I try to help,
You even gave
all
him
the
the
students
passport.
in my class.
Passport, yeah. That helps. It definitely helps.
All right. Very quickly now, we've moved on from that. And we've spoken of the teams. But well done, by the way, to all of you. Let's just talk about whether this is do or die for RCB. It's a long season, as we've said multiple times. But what would you be sensing this game means for RCB? Tom?
I think this is absolutely critical for RCB. With now a 10-team tournament, it's harder to find yourself in that top 4.
Yep.
So there's a lot more competition to scramble for that top 4. So if they down this one, they're relying heavily on a real hot streak, and part of that hot streak will have to be at home, which is historically something that they're not overly comfortable with. So they need to be winning away from home, and it needs to start against some of the best teams if they're wanting to find themselves in the top form. And they're coming up against one of the best teams tonight.
Which is why tactically I just love how, obviously they've got to win the toss, but when Rajasthan have won the toss, they've decided to bowl first.
Yes.
And they're looking to really put RCB under some pressure with the ball. They've struggled with the bat, barring Virat Kohli. So tactically a really good decision, and that's going to put them under a lot of pressure. And then if they get through that innings, then you've got bowlers who haven't been able to defend the total as well. So... if RCB come out on top today, I'll be surprised. But if they do, it could be one of those season-flipping performances.
Now, we've already touched upon this, but when Rawat was excluded, we felt that's harsh for one of the few batters who's actually put in an impactful innings, because most of their overseas haven't. And that is a key part of why Bangalore struggle. We thought it will first be the bowling, who will support Siraj. As it turns out, the Bengaluru batting is starting to fall apart. Wasim, 162 runs for the overseas batters is the lowest average in this year's IPL, just 25%. Virat Kohli alone has scored nearly 32% of their runs. They averaged 13.5. That strike rate isn't big. And we're talking about 3 superstars of the IPL, with Cam Green doing well last year. So it's Faf, Green, Glenn Maxwell. they could have been tempted to think of a change, but that's a difficult 3 to drop, either of them.
I mean, at the start of, I was discussing with Tom that they could have probably opened with Anuj, obviously long gone now, but Faf could have come at 5 or 6, and Cam Green to bat at 3, and then Patidar or maybe Lomror. He's done well, but looking at that team, obviously they are thinking otherwise. But the top 3 has to come good. I mean, Faf looked pretty decent in the first game, but nothing after that. So is Maxwell and so is Cam Green. So they got to get it right, the big boys.
How? 3 really good players and this kind of start.
Yeah, you're only as good as your form. It's great having a backlog and a history of being a great player, but if you're coming into a tournament out of form and starting a tournament out of form, you need to get to a point where how long is that rope that we're going to give that player. Maxwell is in a bit of an enigma, isn't he? We know that he's quite likely to come out tonight and get 80 off 30 balls or something ridiculous and blow us all away and all the spectators in Jaipur. But the one that concerns me is Faf's form at the top of the order, particularly with someone like Will Jacks breathing down his neck, because I've worked personally with Will Jacks in the 100 in the UK. He's a gun. He is a really exciting player, impactful opening bat. Well, there are his numbers. It tells you everything. High strike rate, plays spin well, plays pace well, and he is your perfect replacement if they decide to go with a change with their overseas.
You know what that will also mean. And the other problem is that there is no one in that playing 11 or playing 12 that screams as a viable captaincy option. Because it's unlikely Kohli will do it again. There's a lot of emotion there, etc., etc. Unless he takes it back, there isn't a senior Indian player there who has captaincy credentials. Dinesh Karthik, Mohammad Siraj.
Maxwell's captain in the Big Bash, and maybe that's a way to get Maxwell's campaign to turn around as well, is by giving him that responsibility. Now, I'm not saying that this is what is going to happen, but that's the dilemma that's on the table, on the selection table at RCB, and I'm sure Faf, being the type of guy he is, he'd be very open and honest around his own position as well, and maybe, this is the last, chance he has to really stamp his campaign is tonight. So, let's hope that Faf goes out there and we see vintage Faf du Plessis.
There is a precedent there as well. I know it was some time ago, but when Ricky Ponting stepped down as captain for Mumbai and gave the captaincy to Rohit, you saw things turn around for the franchise as well, and particularly that season. So if he was to do that, ideally, first and foremost for RCB, they want him to get back to the form he was in last year.
I think we all do too. He's a bit of a favourite, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a great.
Everyone loves Faf, right?
Yeah.
Everyone loves Faf, wants Faf to do well. But when we talk about teams like CSK in transition and Mumbai announcing that they are in transition with their big captaincy call, realistically, RCB should also be looking at some form of transition. Faf du Plessis is 39. He is unlikely. He doesn't play much cricket. His SA20 form was not as good as it's been.
It's a slightly different though. So it's not a long-term transition because next year's the big auction.
Correct.
So it's not like they're transitioning and giving the captaincy to a Patidar or someone like that. You see as a long-term servant of RCB. So this is a short fix.
Correct. I think when they got Faf and Kohli had announced he's stepping down, that was always a short-term thing. But it's not like we see any of the young Indian players there too, that they could say, like how Rajasthan, today's opponents, decided to build their team around Samson.
Well, 100%. I mean, next year, that's going to be the first port of call for RCB is to try and find an Indian captain, and it will come out of the auction pool. It won't be like a trade or anything like that. So
they have to go and buy an auction.
They will go and buy a young Indian captain or a prospect next year.
Or an old Indian captain.
Or an old, in case someone's available and wants to play for a new franchise.
Well, you never know. Who's going to be in the pool?
Who all will be in the pool? Wasim, any inside knowledge from your fellow Mumbai players? Anybody who might want to go in? No?
Not as yet.
Not as yet. Okay.
Just keep us informed, will you?
All right. On a very serious note, let's talk about the one thing that's working for RCB, and that is Virat Kohli's form. He started the tournament well. There's a close eye being kept on Kohli with the T20 World Cup in mind as well. It's not about whether he goes, he's going to go. How he plays, what kind of form he's in, will just be so much more pleasing for Indian fans. So how do Rajasthan set up against him with two left-arm bowlers in Bolt and Berger? We've discussed that as well. So let's ask the left-arm bowler who proudly has dismissed him. Do you remember how many times in IPL history?
I think 4 times.
Oh, what
Had him
timing.
Dropped a couple of times as well.
Excellent.
Let's just get that in. Deary me.
Could have been a lot more, and he flicked a
It's a
6.
mic drop.
Yeah, flicked a 6 in his last innings to get his
Right,
run rate against me up.
Just to finish that off, Sandeep Sharma 7 times in 17 innings, but not playing today. Unfortunately, continues to nurse a niggle. But you have Mitch McClenaghan in a very.
Yeah, look, it's one of those matchups that actually set up quite nicely for me in the way that I bowled, because Virat Kohli, when you're looking at bowling to a player like Virat Kohli or any bowler, first and foremost I look at where their strength is, what do I want to avoid, and for Virat Kohli it's straight. He likes the leg side, heading down the ground, so I don't want to go full and straight at the stumps for me, but then I'm looking at where can I get dot ball and where can I get a wicket. So I'll try, for me, it'll set up quite nicely. I could go across over 4th or 5th stump, making sure the ball's ending up above the stumps. And because he openly says that he's a test cricketer and he's not going to change his technique, those deliveries that are over 4th or 5th stump, in test cricket you'd leave. But in white ball cricket, he actually has to look to play those deliveries and try and get some runs off them. And quite often he pushes his hands and just tries to run the ball down to third man and exposes the edge, kind of like we've seen Maxwell do in the last couple of games. And it's an involuntary shot, because he doesn't cut. So there's a good little area there. So look, working with Bondi for a long period of time, I'm fully expecting that to be the initial plan to Virat Kohli. What we've seen so far this tournament, when guys have tried to go fuller and run it across, particularly Sam Curran in their first game, he nicked them out doing exactly that. Straight away after that, Virat Kohli's starting to come down the wicket. So we're going to see some counter punches. He's going to be trying to get the ball around his knee height, so he'll be walking down the wicket, which might also bring the option of a bouncer into play. So I think we're going to see a really nice cat and mouse between Trent Bolt and Andre Berger and Virat Kohli. And then if he gets through that, I mean, you alluded to how good are the spinners that Rajasthan have got. So if he gets through the 2 left-armers, then he's got 2 of the best spinners in the world to contest with.
Anything to add, gentlemen?
Yeah, it's going to be an intriguing sort of matchup.
Yeah, I think sums it up nicely. I mean, he'll probably look to that leg before, or maybe that caught in the slip. That's the grey area for Virat. But if you get past that, you can expect runs from him.
All right, fair enough. Let's also keep a quick eye on 2 seamers. I don't know if they're competing, because there are those that certainly feel Mohammad Siraj and his form from last year's IPL is good enough, and he's a sure shot like Bumrah is. There are those who also say maybe he is in the 15, but not in the 11. So there's Avesh Khan, who's pushing him. And Avesh Khan is an important player for the Rajasthan Royals. Traded back and sort of on and off season with injury, Wasim, in 2023, where his numbers went up. It was after that 21-22 season where we thought, wow, Avesh Khan could be one of India's key T20 finds. And this year he started well. He's bowling well at the death. How do you see him going today against an RCB middle order that is struggling a little bit?
Yeah, I think obviously he hasn't picked a lot of wickets, but that economy is very impressive. And his execution, especially in the death bowling, has been pretty good. And exactly, you want him to bowl like that. He'll put that middle order under pressure, that Indian middle order.
That stage, that death over stage, is the one thing of Mohammad Siraj's bowling which is still perhaps under suspect. He's an excellent new ball bowler, Tom. As you look at the 2 bowlers, and if you want to sort of look at what skill set you think will be more handy in the Caribbean in those conditions?
I see them as 2 complete opposite role players. Yes. So I don't see one for the other. Mohammad Siraj, new ball bowler with Bumrah, that's top line. That's competing with most teams in the world with a new ball attack in T20 cricket and 50 over cricket for that matter. Avesh to me is a middle over death over bowler. You might bowl one of his overs in the power play, maybe the last over is a defensive over in that power play. I felt Rajasthan got one of the better trades out of season with Avesh Khan because it filled a significant hole in their squad where they had an oversupply with
Padikkal. Yeah.
at the top of the order. So it was a real good trade for them.
All right, fair enough. Now, would Avesh Khan or Siraj or Kohli or any of the other players we've discussed make it to the impact zone where the experts pick their 3 players for the day? Well, let's find out. All right, reminder, each of our experts pick 3 players before play, and depending on how they go, they get valued as per ESPN Cricinfo's Smart Stats. Lovely way to decide the impact of a player on a T20 game, more than conventional numbers. Like yesterday, Abhishek Sharma, highest impact even though he just faced 12 balls. And the expert with the highest points tally for each match gets 3 points in their season tally. It's a quick reminder as well, I think, of how the season has gone for you boys so far. And Tom Moody is just continuing his dominance at the top, which McClenaghan and Wasim Jaffer must play catch-up, given Tom is at the top. Maybe we should once again start with Wasim Jaffer, but this time I will come to Tom second for the first place.
Oh, okay. So you're going to punish me. Perfect.
How does that sound?
No, you can go second
Start
because I hate.
Start with Tom.
Well, it'd be nice because I haven't done it for a week.
Yeah. You've been
So you might find I come last if I start.
Wasim has also not done it for a week.
Yeah.
Because Wasim has not been
Okay,
here
let's go.
for a week. Yeah.
You go that way.
Okay, we'll go with Wasim first. With whatever, batter or bowler, how would you like to start?
I'll go batter.
Batter.
I'll go Virat.
Virat Kohli for Wasim Jaffer. Mitchell McClenaghan.
No, go, Tom.
You go.
No, we're going this.
He
When
is-
I said
he is
second, I
running the
mean the
show.
second person to start is
before
him.
beauty.
Second
Which
person to start. The second round will start with him is what I meant.
Oh,
Jeez,
okay.
yeah, that's what I meant. All right,
Okay.
so Virat Kohli,
It
batter.
doesn't take much for him to whinge.
I'm going to go Sanju Samson.
Very well.
I'm going with Jaswal.
Yashasvi Jaiswal. Tom, a bowler.
Trent Bolt.
Chahal.
Nondre Berger.
Very good. I like it. I
So
like
I
the
go
selections. Yes, wild card.
I'm going to go Maxwell.
I'm going to go with Ashwin.
I'm going Parag.
I was waiting. Will somebody go for Riyan Parag, the informed
Won't be a
batter?
big total to chase. So, may not even bat.
And on that note, Trent Bolt has bowled the first ball as Rajasthan are in pink for a wonderful cause that they are endorsing and supporting. So let's get an outrageous prediction and a first inning score, or at least a prediction, and then I will decide how outrageous it is. Mitch, you can go first.
Yeah, they're going to get to 156 RCB, and Andre Berger's going to take 3 wickets.
3 wickets to Nondre Berger. I think that's outrageous enough. He's not got 3 so far.
No.
Yes. Tom.
My outrageous pick is that Prague is going to get less than 10 runs.
Parag. Okay, so that'll be for the second innings. You want to give me something for this one?
Do I need to? Is this a
you-
Well,
match?
if you want the points,
If you want to double up, if you want
You
to
don't
double
need to
up.
Are
take
these
points.
points worth points?
These are
These
worth
are they? Okay. Faf du Plessis is not going to get more than 12 runs.
12 runs. That's a very specific number. Very well. And your first innings prediction again is?
163.
156 and 163. Pretty close. Wasim.
177 total.
Decent score. Enough to beat them last time. Yeah.
And Faf to get 70 plus.
Oh, contrary. Contrasting.
Wow.
Very well.
Okay,
Well,
love it.
actually, anything was enough to beat them last time because Rajasthan got bowled out for 59. So that wasn't the most clever choice of words from me. But thank you, Wasim Jaffer, Mitch McClenaghan, and Tom Moody. More from these fine gentlemen at the end of the RCB innings. RCB fans would certainly be hoping for a strong batting performance. We'll also see we get to see Saurav Chauhan for the first time in RCB colours. Join us at the end of the innings on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Do download the mobile app if you haven't already. Have you covered with everything from the IPL and the world of cricket. We will see you at the end of the RCB innings.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.